Oi, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another news video here on youtube.com/DylanKG. And today we're talking about the Chapter 18 changes for the twins and Elodie coming to Dead by Daylight. But of course, before we hop on in there, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, turning the notifications on. That helps me out a ton. Only 20% of you guys are currently subscribed, and I know that you guys are checking out the videos. I know you're looking, all right? So go ahead and do that for me, and let's dive right in. Now, if you didn't know, the twins and Elodie released on the PTB last Tuesday. Now, we have been kind of speculating on when this is going to release, and I think that this is not going to release until the first Tuesday in December. So that I think would be around December 1st. Right now, it looks like these particular Chapter 18 changes are going to be releasing on this next Tuesday before the US Thanksgiving, of course. But let's dive right into what these changes are going to be and how they help. All right, so for the twins, they've made the map-wide sound when Victor is released clearer. So it's a little bit easier for people to hear when Victor is released from Charlotte. And after being attached to a survivor for 45 seconds, Charlotte will see Victor's aura and be able to recall him. A big issue that we have had with the twins is that Victor would attach themselves to a survivor, and a survivor, if they were willing to not work on gens for the rest of the match, they didn't have to give Victor up. They could just keep him on him like for forever. You would just see a Dwight with a Victor running around and everybody else would be slamming gens. And it makes you virtually, it made Charlotte just a M1 killer. She had nothing. So now she'll be able to recall Victor back to him after 45 seconds, which is important. So sometimes a survivor, and they outline that exact same thing here. They say sometimes the survivor would keep Victor on their back to prevent the killer from using their power. This way, there's a great risk to doing so, and the killer has the ability to forcefully regain their power after some time. So I think the idea here is that Charlotte will be able to call Victor back. So it really would be, yes, the survivor could keep Victor for 45 seconds, but Charlotte's going to get him back anyway. So you might as well get him off your back ASAP, right? So it kind of depends. We'll see how that plays out in the PTB next week, all right? So they replaced the spinning top add-on effect. This add-on will now cause survivors to drop their items when pounced on by Victor. So kind of a Franklin's add-on, if you will. They increased Victor's movement speed while charging a pounce and increased the amount of time it takes to reach his this movement speed. So the one thing about Victor that I did notice is that people could literally just run around like a rock, like a decent sized rock. And Victor was so slow when he was charging his pounce and holding his pounce that he wouldn't be able to actually catch them. So think of this like Plague. With Plague, while you're charging your ability, you're a little bit slower. But when when you charge your Purge all the way, you're moving at a slightly slower speed. So with Plague, she moves at 110 speed when she's fully charged, I believe. So that'll be the thing here with Victor, is he's faster when it's fully charged is what it sounds like, but slower when it's charging. So interesting. I actually like this. It'll make him definitely a little bit stronger, a little bit more potent. And they say, due to the slow movement speed while pouncing, hitting a survivor with Victor while they are around a small enough loop object could be very difficult. These two changes, while causing you to lose less distance while charging your pounce, make it easier to use in those situations. So people will have to get a little bit better at juking, kind of a la Huntress style, and dodging hatchets. So the perk Coup de Grace reduced the lunge increase from 60-80 to 60-80-100 to 40-50-60. All right, the value for Coup de Grace on the PTB were higher than anticipated. We'll be reducing them to a more reasonable level. What I think this comes down to is people saw the way that this affected Pig, Demo, and other certain killers like Spirit, and they were like, that's a little bit too much. So they reduced it. So I don't know why they didn't test this on their own, but the PTB, I don't think that behavior has like a huge testing department, you know what I mean, for that kind of stuff, and that's why the PTB exists. So we did the work for them there. Future updates and hot fixes. So this will be interesting. Victor will be able to interact with lockers and hold a survivor inside for a short amount of time. If Charlotte interacts with the locker in time, she will grab the survivor. If the survivor is not grabbed out of the locker in time, they will break free, killing Victor in the process. And they say during the PTB, survivors realize they can jump in a locker to avoid Victor since he's unable to search lockers. To prevent this, we'll be giving Victor a unique interaction with lockers. This will take animation work. However, this will not be ready for the initial release. So this is interesting. It looks like and I could be wrong, it looks like they could be actually just releasing this on like the 24th and then just updating this later. I think that's a little silly to allow people to play the killer and buy the killer and all that stuff and not even be getting the final release of the killer. They should just leave them in PTB another week or whatever. I don't know. Weird to me, but this is interesting. I imagine Victor's going to pounce on a locker and just like hold it closed for 15 seconds or something, or 10 seconds. I don't know. And I have a feeling that the value through which Victor holds a locker shut will also change. It'll probably come out and be 10 seconds and then get nerfed down to 5 or something like that. But I like this. And I like the idea that it's a small duration of time. And if survivors have head-on's going to be a really... I wonder if head-on's going to be able to counter it, things like that. So we'll see what happens here. Adding a delay to the exit gate blocker when a survivor is downed with Victor on their back. So what used to happen is somebody would have Victor on their back and they would just stand at the exit gate, and if they got downed, they would just crawl out because they, why not? Currently, the exit gate blocker disappears immediately if a survivor with Victor on their back is downed. This allows them to crawl out before Charlotte can finish wiping her weapon. This delay ensures that survivors can be picked up before the blocker disappears. So this is kind of a no-brainer. Again, I don't know why this wasn't thought of before the game released. It's a little bit weird, or before the killers were released, a little bit strange. And it apparently, if you didn't know, if Victor is on your back as a survivor, you can still like leave through the hatch as well. They're apparently not going to change that, or that has not been mentioned. So be careful in the endgame collapse to know where the hatch is, because it is still possible for somebody to get hatch with Victor. So, and then perks for Elodie. I believe anyway. Appraisal. The speed bonus no longer applies to unlocking a chest, only rummaging. So appraisal used to give you a bonus to unlocking the chest initially and then searching it the first time. Apparently this is only going to go for subsequent searches. And then each chest can only be rummaged once per survivor. Just as a recap, using appraisal meant that you could rummage through a chest up to 3 additional times to find new items. Which was great. You could have 4 items at the end of a rummage, and then somebody could come up behind you and then rummage through the chest 3 more times. You have 3 tokens. They could burn all 3 tokens if they wanted to. So it appears once a chest has been rummaged, they're going to just kind of leave it emptied out. I hope there is an indicator. I hope that if a survivor walks up to a chest, it says unable to rummage or something like that. That would make sense. Seems like easy text to enable. I don't know game dev, because I have a fear that people are going to walk up to a chest, not get the prompt, and go, the game's bugged, and then just report 1,000 bugs. So I hope that they look at that. Let's look at the text here. This change prevents someone from rummaging the same chest multiple times, creating a large pile of items. We want to encourage people to move around the map and rummage different chests. The overall number of times you can rummage is unchanged. So you can still do it 3 times. It's just 1 person per chest, really. These changes, of course, they want to say are tentative. The exact details and times may vary from the list above. So here's my guess. I'm going to give you guys a rough timetable. I think that the killer might release on, honestly, I'm going to roll back what I said. I think the killer is going to come out on the 24th. It doesn't look like we're going to get a new PTB. So it looks like they're going to have some of these base changes here with the twins, with the pouncing, etc., and the recall on the 24th. That'll be full launch. And then I don't know, sometime around the 8th or the week after that of December is when we'll actually get the future update with regards to lockers. I don't think this makes sense. I think they just need to wait and release all of it together. I'm cool with waiting 3 weeks. I don't care. Not a big deal. Because I'm not going to buy the twins and play them much anyway if they're not at like their best. I don't think... You know what I mean? I don't know. Hard to say. But what do you guys think of these changes? Long-winded video. Wanted to go over all my thoughts on this one. What do you guys believe is going to happen here? And if there is a release on Tuesday, you can bet your bottom that I'm going to be there talking about it. I appreciate you guys. Do 3 things for me. Unclench your jaw. Get some water. Get some sunshine today. And of course, I'll pray to the entity to see you in the next video.